Good morning, Beavers family. It's Tuesday, my favorite time of the week here. This Tuesday coffee chat. This has turned into such an enjoyable time for me to get to know some of the leaders within our organization, CSUSA, as well as last week the U.S. Senator. So it's just really nice to have the conversations with some of the exciting leaders that we have, and give all the audience a chance to get to know everyone. I was telling Ms. Coyle and Ms. Davidson, I'm probably a little more nervous today than any day. I don't know why, but I have a lot of respect for the person we're going to be talking to today. His name is Dr. Eddie Ruiz. He is the state director for the entire state of Florida, where I think there are 60-some schools. We'll have to he'll have him give us that exact number, but he does a great job of leading with passion and a service mindset and giving principles. And I can say that firsthand, having worked with him, the chance to kind of be the captain of your own ship, but still kind of stay within the CSUSA guidelines. So I so enjoyed working with him. And I actually think that I became a better principal because of the time that I had a chance to work with Dr. Eddie Ruiz. And beyond just being so sharp in education, he's really funny too. So hopefully we can pull out that side of his personality here in the next few minutes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring out Dr. Eddie Ruiz.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Doc. I don't know if you heard all those things I was saying about you, but
yeah, I'll pay you later. I mean, that's it's really sweet of you, man. I appreciate those nice words, man. I don't know why you need to be more nervous. This is crazy. I think I'm more nervous than you are.
Guys, Dr. Ruiz does such a great job down there, again, building the capacity of leaders. And it's just so exciting to have him on here. So I got some questions I want to run by you, Doc, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
The first question I'd like to talk about is you and I both know this, and I've heard you talk about it. And I love the fact that national and the state leadership really focuses on the importance of putting family first, and that focus on the family, as well as relationships. And just the importance of us being that type of organization. We both know how lucky we are to be in these positions. So with that, why don't you tell us a little bit about your family, Doc?
Yeah, well, my wife and I have been married almost for 20 years now. Anniversary is here in July. So that is, got married young. And so, we it's almost 20 years. So time flies. And we have one son. He is 13, going to be 14 here in the next month, starting high school next year. So things are changing in our household as he's changing, but love him to death, man. He is a hoot and a character all in itself. So
20 years,
sir. Yes.
We might be like 10. Jeez.
Maybe no. I actually, I think it was. I was 21. She was 18. So
wow. All right, that's a great story. Thank you. Yeah, I bet. So right now you're doing the whole state director thing, and then also the work at home, being the teacher, and that really helps.
Yeah, well, my son doesn't think so. He's in a Zoom class, and he's like, "Why am I the only one on here?" I'm like, "Because your parents are educators, so get your butt back onto the Zoom call."
Oh, that's good stuff. Hey, Doc, I know there probably is no such thing as this, but if you could kind of give us what the typical day for a state director, when there are so many schools in Florida, I've lost count. I know you'll know. What's it look like kind of serving in that huge position?
Well, to begin with, I've worked in districts, 3 large districts. So I've seen what a district bureaucracy looks like. When I made the choice to come over to Charter Schools USA 2 years ago, it was the vision of John Hage, those things you talked about in the beginning, the core values of PPIG, the family, the relationships. And that really drawed me in, because, my goal was to be a superintendent. And basically I am a superintendent. I'm the superintendent in the state of Florida with 61 schools. We have 64 campuses, as you would say, with over 58,000 students in the state of Florida. So if you actually looked at this, who we are as an organization, we'd be in the top 40 in the nation in terms of size compared to school districts. So that we are large, so there is no typical day. I pride myself in having a great team. It's all about the team structure in Florida and the team effort, because I don't do this job alone. It's a team of us that do it, and we make each other better through the synergy that we have. So the way that Florida is structured, which may be a little bit different in the other states that we're in, is we have 4 area directors. And so each area director really is almost like a mini superintendent within the each area that they're in. And they oversee, coach and mentor about 15 schools and their leadership teams, because they don't only coach the principal up, they coach the assistant principals, the CRTs, and what they do and how often they're in those schools. I also have a deputy director, and that deputy director, we realized in the last 2 years that the operational side of the house, not only the academics, which we do well, the operational side of the house really needed some firming up. And so our deputy director works with 50 state team members, that range from facilities, IT, finance, HR, enrollment, marketing, grants. I mean, there are 50 teams. And so that deputy director works with those folks and ensures that the curriculum side and the operational side of the house are talking, and that the systems are flowing to make sure that the great work in the Florida continues. On top of that, there's a curriculum director that oversees all the curriculum within the state that works with CS's curriculum specialists. There's 2 assigned per area. We have 8 in total. And then obviously our special directors, special populations that really oversee our ESC, our ELL, all the mental health. I mean, we have 2 of those. So it takes a large team to really oversee 58,000. I mean, we do it really lean, but really in a given week, I really spend my time, and I have set days for certain, in a week. Nowadays, it's all Zoom calls and Teams calls, but really, working with our national team and state team. So it's meeting with Dr. Christensen and the national team to, get the marching orders, the vision, where we're going, sharing the best practices. That's our PLC with other state directors. I meet with my own team of area directors. My leadership team is about 8. Those area directors, a deputy curriculum director. We meet weekly and start brainstorming, things, proactively, and sometimes we have to act reactively to what's going on in the state of Florida, especially now in the time we're in. And really my job is to help and coach my first team, those folks there, my area directors, help them become better leaders. At the end of the day, I want to have, I'm creating more leaders across the state of Florida, and that's my job. And so I pop into meeting with principals. I pop into meeting with our curriculum director and just listen, provide feedback, and also really just interact with all the different stakeholders in the state. But then on the back scene, I'm also the political, working with all board members, board meetings. We have 7 boards in the state of Florida. We have 13 districts we're in. So I've met with superintendents across all 13 districts, met with board members, district leaders, and ensuring that our relationship is a partnership and not seen in any other way. So that's a mouthful, but that's only probably a fraction.
The thing is, and listen, that's a lot, Doc. And I want to comment a little bit on that, but you do it with grace, a servant mindset, and with humor and laughter. And I absolutely love that, because when you see that list of things, you think that person who wears all those hats and is building the capacity of so many might be overwhelmed or stressed out. If you are, you hide it well, because people are watching. And when you talk about some of those positions, I know those people, and I know many of them you put in those positions, and building their capacity and building that team around you that kind of shares your vision, and that vision for our company has really, really helped with the growth in Florida. And it's I was very fortunate to be a small part of that team for a while, and just the excitement of that, and now kind of bringing that into South Carolina. Because unlike Florida, Doc, do you know how many schools we have in South Carolina?
Enlighten me.
1.
Oh, there you go.
But we're really looking to grow and kind of, take that energy and excitement of CSUSA that's in Florida, kind of across the border, and really stretch that charter school concept, that school choice for every child and equity for all students, which I know is a huge passion of yours, and really spread that throughout our state, which is so right for charter education. Thank you, sir. Yeah, and you do all those, again, well, positively and with a smile. So we know that CSUSA has had a great deal of success over the last few years with your leadership. What's your vision for the company in the short term and the long term, Doc?
Yeah, so we're coming off. I mean, it's unfortunate that we're not going to get school grades in the state of Florida this year with the whole COVID-19 issue, because we were marking and trending in a positive way looking at our mid-year data. But last year we were the number of A-rated and B-rated high achieving schools. We were at 81% of A's and B's in the state. We only had 11 schools in the state of Florida that were C's, and of those 11 C's, 6 of those were 1 point away from the B. So we, when we look at John Hage's, WIG, widely important goal of getting to all A's and B's in 2020, that's what we were shooting for. Short-term goal, by the time we get school grades around next summer, we want to be all A's and B's, high achieving rated schools in the state. And with that, we truly believe a school is not effective without an effective leader and effective teachers. So, short-term goal is make sure we have the right leader in each seat on the bus at one of our schools with quality mentoring and coaching. And because we believe if that happens, we're going to get high achieving teachers in our buildings. And so, short-term goal is make sure we have the right leader, the right, have the right folks on the bus so that we can get that high achieving A and B. Long-term vision really is we want, in Florida, that our stakeholders, our parents, our teachers, our students, that we become the option for choice when parents are selecting, the education for their children. There are a lot of options out there between private, charters, district schools, and the more competition out there, the more it's going to happen. But we want to become, that's the vision of Florida, that when we think of, what's the best choice for education for our children, that Charter Schools USA is the first thing they think of because of the quality of our schools, the high rating of A's and B's, the high rating of our leaders and teachers that are in the building. We want, and on top of that, we want to continue to grow and expand, providing those innovative and educational solutions to our parents. That's the innovation. And we're at a crux of period in time that we're able to do that with the entire COVID-19 issue. We are changing the way education will look like in the future. And I think, that's, we will become the option of choice when parents are selected.
Wow. Listen, and thank you for sharing that. And I couldn't agree more that, this pandemic has really given us the chance as a charter organization to show how we are unique and different and can adapt to these types of situations and try to make the best out of such a challenging time with empathy for our teachers and our parents as they kind of take on these new roles. And one of the great things about the opportunity to work with you is that many times you hear people set goals, but then when you look at the steps that it takes to achieve those goals, sometimes you don't see that action and the work behind the scenes in Florida with CSUSA to make sure that we don't just set goals. Now we say, what are the many successes, the little successes we can have as we work toward achieving that goal and then celebrating the heck out of those. So that's certainly something that we want to model here in South Carolina in the future. We're running a little short on time, but I really want you, if you don't mind, give me just maybe a minute or two. I know you got a big meeting you got to get to, but what's the plan for summer and in August in Florida as we look at what reopening may look like, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, the education, again, will not look the same. For summer, we're going to continue blended learning in the form that we're at right now. This whole, idea of this, we call it in Florida the instructional continuity plan. It's our plan of how we're doing instruction right now. We're going to continue that through June. We're doing right now growth checks for our students, and that's a task in itself because assessments and it's really a growth check mindset, helping parents understand what a growth check is, helping our students understand what a growth check is. In the 2 months that you've been out of school, where are you? Taking that data and using that data to help guide the instruction for June. That's our goal. So we're going to break that data up based on how we're doing it. And really, the equity piece is important. How do we get all the student data. But kids we don't grab, we'll bring into the building using CDC guidelines. But the summer will look as an extension of this year. And then as we go on to the fall time, really looking at blended learning, this whole idea of, and we're going to call it mobile learning, because there's going to be 3 options. And we're not there yet, but we know it's either going to be traditional, but with CDC social distancing guidelines, it's not going to look the same in the cafeteria. It will not look the same in the hallways. It will not look the same on the school buses. We have to understand that. It will be either, an option where kids are coming 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, and the other 2 days they're doing this blended learning. It could be an A-B school day where kids are coming 2 days and or coming half a day and then do the other half blended. It could be total blended online ready. So we are getting ready for all options, and there could be some more out there. But that's where we're getting our leaders ready to start start this growth mindset of school will not look the same. So let's start planning around that.
And you know what I love, Doc, is the fact that planning, that's not summer planning. And instead of waiting until we know what it is, let's plan for, and I think your whole day today is really around planning for August now and being that proactive mindset. And it's really what separates CSUSA, that, we can plan for multiple scenarios and then, figure out which one's the best fit for our schools and families. So,
and I could tell you that I think because we've done so well with our instructional continuity plan in the state of Florida, because we started 3 weeks prior to, or 4 weeks prior to actually being shut down. We were already talking about what that plan looked like, getting principal feedback, getting stakeholder feedback. And once we did all of that, we were ready to go. Where other districts had to come back and start again, we were ahead of the game. So it's about communication, and we don't have as much bureaucracy to actually go through. We can get things done quicker.
Yep. That is perfect. Hey, Doc, we're closing on time here. We always end with the same question. It's kind of our trademark. First, I want you to tell us your favorite kind of dad joke, if you will. And then after that, share with me 3 things that really make you smile, Doc.
Well, I don't know if it's a dad joke. I hear a lot of teacher and student jokes. So this is one of the ones, it's just funny to me. But basically, the teacher is grading papers and is looking at one of the papers and pulls up one of the students and says, here, Johnny, you copied from Fred's exam paper, didn't you? And Johnny goes, how did you know? And the teacher goes, Fred's paper says, I don't know. And on yours, you put me neither. So just a corny but funny teacher joke. It is what it is. There are other ones I know, but I probably can't say it on the on Facebook Live.
No, we'll save those for backstage. Maybe we'll do that.
Thank you.
Listen, and give us 3 things that make you smile, Doc.
3. I love number one. My son is my life. He makes me smile all the time with his. He's just a unique character. I love him, and so he makes me smile. Makes me smile. Really is family. And that goes part with my son. What makes me smile is compassion and grace with folks. When, we are optimistic and we see the good in people, that makes me smile instead of seeing the negative. And third thing is the fun one. What makes me smile is when I can just, I like to binge watch TV and just relax and not have any stress on me. Just sit and binge watch and just relax. That makes me smile sometimes. Without the hustle and bustle of the day.
Listen, if there's anyone that deserves a little downtime and a little disconnection, Doc, it's you. And again, I was kind of playing you up to Coyle and Davidson before you came on, but I imagine backstage they're seeing why I was so excited about getting a chance to interview you, because I've missed seeing you. I haven't seen you in a while. So.
Well, we miss you. We miss you in the state of Florida for sure, man. I know it was a great loss, but a great addition to what you're doing and all the things that I've seen so far. You're a dynamic leader, the right heart, the right mind. So I appreciate you, what you're doing for the kids there in South Carolina. So they're lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you, sir. With that, we're out of time for this segment. Enjoy the rest of your day. I know you've got a busy one going. Everyone, we'll be back in just a moment with our second segment with question and answer. Thank you very much, Doc. All right, guys. Hey, pretty amazing, isn't he?
Yeah, I've had the chance to hear him speak at the NEI conference in Fort Lauderdale last year, and it was a great.
Yeah, I remember, and I didn't get a chance to work in the question, but he's he's really, really focused on, again, building the capacity of all leaders. But then beyond that, I think his passion really falls in changing the world with every student, one student at a time, particularly students students who may have a socioeconomic or such that's more challenging, and making sure that every student has an equal opportunity to be successful and change the world. So he's really focused on that equity in education, and I've heard him lead conferences on that, and it's just incredibly dynamic. But also, you may have heard him lead conferences on his leadership style, which is, also that servant mindset, but just a real strong attention to detail and thoughtful planning. Again, I'm just really excited to get a chance to see Dr. Ruiz again. He's truly one of my favorite people in this profession. So, hey, do we have any questions?
Yes. Will the kids' last day of school still be on June 4th?
Is it June 2nd?
No.
June 4th?
It was supposed to be June 3rd or 4th, one of those.
Okay. Yeah, listen, there's no change in the schedule. However, our teachers are working on like that last week, kind of winding things down. You'll be getting more detail based on grade specific information. With 8th grade, they're closing things down a little early. I think maybe even at the end of this week for new assignments, then doing kind of makeup work so they can get grades calculated, get everything in for our 8th grade promotion, which we're really excited about. It's actually going to be a blend of it's going to be kind of a blended ceremony that'll actually be here at the school, but more like an old kind of drive-in movie kind of a thing. And then in grades 3, 5, and 7, we'll be doing some benchmark testing, and the teachers are kind of working with the parents and students on kind of closing things down. But the last official day will be the same as it was before. Then we'll work on collecting the computers back after that. Anything you guys want to add on that I maybe didn't hit?
I would say that the last week of new assignments is that I think the 18th or the 19th or the 22nd.
Yeah, next week.
Yes, and then grades are being put in from the 22nd to the 28th. So if there's anything that they're missing that they haven't done yet, make sure they get it in. That way we can be, number one, prepared for 8th grade graduation, for the kindergarten graduation. It takes a little bit to process the report cards and get that all in. So really your last day of assignments would be that 22nd if they're caught.
And we put a great deal of thought, working with the grade leads on, how we wanted to kind of make sure we closed out the year still focused on academics and moving forward, but also understanding and having empathy for the situation our parents and our students are in this unique and dynamic situation. And with that, we wanted to make sure we had at least a week instead of new material for our teachers to reach out multiple times and try to make sure we reach every child who may have missing assignments to get that information in. So we felt that last week was a really, really good time just to make sure that there's nothing new. If you're caught up, great. But if not, this is a chance to make sure you get every assignment taken care of. And then, of course, in 3, 5, 7 to get some type of benchmark data just to kind of be able to gauge, how were we able to move students forward during this, again, rather unique time. So it's a good question. Any other questions?
Nope, that's it right now. Just a lot of good mornings.
All right. What do we want to talk about, guys? I know what I want to talk about.
Go for it.
But I feel like we're always talking, well, I'm going to bring it up and then you guys are going to talk about it. I want to talk about 8th grade promotion. Then I want to talk about kindergarten promotion.
Okay, I'll start with 8th grade. So we sent out last week a save the date. It's going to be May 28th from 5 to 6. I'll be sending out information with an RSVP today. I'm also asking, and a lot of people have sent it in, but if you haven't, 8th grade parents, please make sure you do as soon as possible. We're making like little shout outs. So it has a picture of them currently, a baby picture, a little bit of information about them. That way we can post those on Facebook, Twitter, and we can use them in the slideshow during the graduation. For the graduation, we'll need you to RSVP just so you know, but it will be 1 car per person. It's going to be kind of like a drive-in. So what you'll do is you'll drive to school, loop around the car loop, drop your kid off. We'll have some parking attendants that'll show you where to park facing the building. And then we'll have the student, Mr. Stickel speak. maybe an 8th grade teacher. I need to work with them about maybe having a student speak. And then we'll go through the ceremony. We'll have, I just bought an FM transmitter so that we can relay the ceremony over your car radio. So you tune into a particular station and you'll hear us speaking. And then we'll also have the slideshow play on Facebook Live at a certain time. Because it's still light outside at 5 to 6, we didn't want to take the risk of trying to project it onto the building. But you'll get the RSVP and all the information, the details today. And then again, don't forget to send in those pictures and that information so we can get their shout out done. There was a post in class tag, but I will post it again.
Listen, I love that. And again, much like we talked about, or Dr. Ruiz talked about, is that, one of the things that CSUSA schools really focus on is that, it's one thing to lay out what you want to do, but then the work behind the work leading up to that, the attention to detail. And we really want to make, every 8th grade promotion ceremony is really, really special, but this is the first 8th grade class to go through Meaver School of Excellence. And I'm just really, really happy that we're able to, even in this time, make sure that we celebrate those students with that ceremony. So I really appreciate all the work and time that you guys are putting into making sure that we keep that organized and efficient, and give the parents and the students that opportunity to be celebrated. So I appreciate that, and I'm really looking forward to that. What can you tell me about kindergarten promotion?
So kindergarten graduation is going to take place in the car loop. So at 9 o'clock, 3 teachers will be there. So let's say you're in Miss Sanders' class, you may be in the middle lane. You'll drive through the middle lane, and Miss Sanders will be at the end underneath the carport. They'll get their diploma, a little gift, take a picture. Miss Taylor's also putting together a slideshow. We'll probably also do that on Facebook Live so you can watch it while you drive. Well, maybe not while you drive through, but while you're stopped. And just celebrating those kindergartners and their promotion to 1st grade. And then the next set of teachers will be at 11 o'clock. The invitation should have been sent out by your teacher. And then if you have any information, or if you need any information, you can contact your child's teacher and they can help you.
Awesome. And I know that the teachers are working with the parents kind of directly on that too. And again, listen, kindergarten, guys, that's their first year in public education. It's such an important year, and what an unusual kindergarten experience they've had. So I'm really excited that we're able to celebrate that. Ms. Coyle, we only have like 3 minutes to go, and I know we keep talking about this, and people might be thinking, why are they making such a big deal of it? But tell us a little bit, again, about where we are on the changes in our cafeteria, of all things, for next year.
Well, it's exciting changes. We will be serving fresh food, hot and cold, every day. It comes delivered fresh every day. Our staff will be cooking it in the cafeteria. There's no microwaving anything. Students will have the 2 choices of a hot meal, and they'll have choices of cold. And they'll have different side choices, different fruits, vegetables, snacks after school for purchase will be available. Also, if they're doing, since we're going to be doing sports, they get a little hungry before they start sports or after sports, they'll be able to provide some snacks for sale. But it's real exciting. It's going to be new, and I think we're getting a lot of kids are going to want to eat lunch now instead of not eat lunch. So I'm real excited about it.
Yeah, I remember it was shortly before, we went on this transition away from being here at the building. Dr. Weinberg, our board president, was here, and he was talking to some of the 8th grade students, and he talked to one young man, and you guys would know if I told you who he was, and he asked him about the lunch, and this student doesn't mind telling you how he feels, and he kind of let him know. And then when Dr. Weinberg was telling him what lunch was going to be like, I think he was thinking about he wished he had one more year just to stay for the chance to have a lunch that was nice, fresh, healthy, and good food and choice. So we are excited about that. And I know you might be thinking, why are we so excited about lunch? Guys, that's an important time of day for our students, and proper nutrition is something that we want to be modeling, for long term. That's something our students are going to take with them well after they leave us. So I'm just really excited about that transition in our cafeteria. So guys, do we have any other questions? If not, I think we're going to kind of close things down. Again, I was super excited, and I'm going to be honest with everyone. I was telling these guys backstage, I was a little nervous about talking to Dr. Ruiz because I really admire his leadership, and I firmly believe I've tried to model some of my own, the way that I handle situations based on kind of watching the way Dr. Ruiz handled, people who worked with him, and kind of using, some of the same, passion and purpose and the integrity and the grit. And you may have heard him refer to PPIG, and that's one of the things that we focus on in our organization. And also, his desire to kind of celebrate successes and not perfection, and then really support people and help them grow. So I was a little nervous about getting a chance to talk to someone that I consider to be a mentor of mine. So I'm really excited, and just glad again to get the opportunity to serve as the principal at Meaver School of Excellence, and again work alongside Ms. Davidson and Ms. Coyle. What a team that we have here. And with that, we'll be back next week. We're not sure. We have an idea of who our guest may be, but we don't want to announce that yet. So thank you very much, everyone. Until next week, have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.